to the House of L. This is our episode for just wanting to say hi. I'm Derek.
Hey, I'm Steve.
And
I'm Luke.
I was going to say, you've been here long enough. You don't have to be introduced anymore. You get to be part of it.
There.
You get to be part of it. Gentlemen, welcome.
Start your engines.
We just recorded an exclusive Patreon episode, and if you're not joining us over at Patreon, why not? We offer so much. Extensive.
There's some good stuff.
There's some
I'm still
great,
getting over it.
great content there. Find out about all of Luke's felonies on today's exclusive episode, where you can join us at patreon.com/superhouseofl. We would love for you to join us and talk about all kinds of exciting things. We just did an episode. Well, we did an episode a few weeks ago where Luke and I gave our casting picks for who we would love to see in a Superman movie. Everybody from Lex to Perry White to Jonathan and Martha, who we would cast, and I think it was a fantastic episode. Steve wasn't able to join us on that one, but we came in today and did the sequel, Electric Boogaloo. So you can hear Steve's picks by joining us. You can listen to both episodes, as well as we've done. Frank and Robin and I did an episode for the pilot. For Lois and Clark. We're doing a lot of fun stuff over there that isn't on the normal feed. So check us out, patreon.com/superhouseofl. We'll give a tease. Let's see. Steve, who is your Jonathan Kent pick?
Neil Flynn.
Neil Flynn from Scrubs in the middle. Luke, who is your Lex?
Again, I've slept since then.
A few times.
He doesn't remember.
I'm dreadful because I was quite cheeky with the fact that I had lots of different answers.
Yeah.
I know that Danny DeVito was my mixed picklick.
Danny DeVito was Mix's Pitalik. Okay, we'll take that one.
Yeah, let's go with that one.
My Jor-El was Liam Neeson. There you go. So if you want to find out more, head over to Patreon. Patreon.com/superhouseofl. Now, we are allegedly a little over
cusp. On the cusp
of a little over 24 hours away being looking down the barrel of the theatrical trailer for Superman. We've had the teaser trailer back some months ago. Among the three of us, we've done live watches with it. We've discussed it on the show. We loved that first teaser. Honestly, haven't had a whole lot since then. Still haven't had an official look at Lois Lane. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. From behind the scenes. Still haven't seen a lot of things. We've had a teaser poster and a teaser trailer, and we've had some bits and pieces over here. Over the weekend, a Brazilian website for the Superman Run Marathon that they hold there every year, I think this is the 6th or 7th year they've done that, announced that this year's theme would be for the new film. So a lot of marketing from Warner Brothers and DC has shown up on that website in the way of promotional images of David Cornsweet as Superman flying, but that is pretty much all we've had. A lunchbox leaked a few weeks ago, showing new images of David as Superman. I bought said lunchbox when I saw one in the wild because I was like, my son will like this. And then he was like, I want the Spider-Man one. And I was like, well, you're dead to me. I have no son. Tore the cloth, and I have no son. So I have a Superman lunchbox now. But yeah, it's kind of been. I know they've said it's going to be likened to what the Barbie campaign was back a couple of years ago for Warner's, but we're now at the time of this recording 101 days away from the film's release, and so we are anxious to see more. Today is the anniversary of Supergirl in comic form. And James Gunn provided a behind-the-scenes picture of Millie Aycock reading Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Not in costume or anything, no teases like that. But they are well underway of filming with Jason Momoa playing Lobo. And a lot going on there. So that film comes out, less than a year after Superman? Is that right, Luke?
I believe so, yes.
Is it June of 2026?
I know Jason Momoa has filmed pretty much a lot of footage from that. He was at the Minecraft premiere yesterday in London, and he was being asked lots of questions about Lobo. And as always, he's quite cheeky when it comes to letting slip things that he's not allowed to let slip. So
Yeah.
he was silenced by lots of publicists again yesterday. But yeah,
Didn't he try and show somebody a picture of him as Lobo in a press junket not too
And he
too
was
long
stopped.
ago? He was stopped.
So he was stopped at the Aquaman 2 press junket. A lot of the DC UK family, as we are titled, we got to speak with Jason Momoa, and lots of questions were going around about Lobo. And like, can you say anything? Can you talk? We know it's a character that you love. What can you say? And his publicist was like, "Yeah, we've got to go and do some more photographs right now." And Jason was like, "No, I want to speak. Let me speak." And he was like, "No, you're not allowed to speak." So, yeah, it's not that far away. And as you said, unless they do some massive marketing push where they just unleash everything on the internet, it's getting close, as you said. When did the Barbie marketing? When did that start?
It was about 4 months out, so I'd say not too far. I mean, there was little stuff here and there, but I think about 4 months out. So we're within that range
Yes.
but this is also a very different animal. This is a different studio. I mean, it's Warner Brothers, obviously, but it's also DC's first real thing that's not Creature Commandos or the Christopher Reeve documentary. So things are going to ramp up. We're 18 days away from Superman Day. So we could get to this CinemaCon in Vegas tomorrow, and they reveal the trailer for theater owners and people in the theater business, but not us, and
Not the theater goers.
not the theater goers, and wait till wait till April 18th to drop that on Superman Day, which would be exhausting at this point.
It would be very exhausting.
You'd be less than 90 days out from the movie at that point.
Very ready for Superman Day. I'm not entirely sure what's going to be released by the powers that be. I've planned a few special things to share and a couple of Superman giveaways as well, just because it's like Christmas for me. It's like a second Christmas. But yeah, I am ready for some serious marketing to begin for this film.
Well, if I've learned anything about how studios run with stuff like Star Wars, everyone always makes a big deal of May the 4th being Star Wars Day, and for years and years and years, there's always this talk of, well, what's Hasbro going to do? What's Lucasfilm going to do?
Right.
And then they don't really do much of anything. So I don't know why once the trailer is released to CinemaCon, they wouldn't go ahead and put it out. I can't imagine being just 100 days away and not really ramping up some stuff. I kind of miss the days of guerrilla marketing. Remember the Dark Knight when it was like you could solve something and reveal a pixel a day of like a puzzle that ended up being the image of the Joker or whatever.
I think Luke and I were even talking on that last Patreon episode about the Zod Man of Steel trailer that was like it would unscramble every
the code runs out, and that was so exciting. The good old days of the internet, as it were.
Yeah. And so now, I mean, and I know that kind of stuff costs money and everything, but it just seems like, well, we'll get a trailer out there, and maybe they're just banking on the fact that Superman doesn't need a lot of hype, that it's Superman. But I don't know. I feel like you've got to do I don't know what the general audience's reaction to the Snyder stuff is, to be honest with you. I only know what like hardcore fans think, and so I don't know if the general audience needs that reintroduction or what kind of work needs to be done to get the public in rather than just the diehard fans. But I would think when you've got a property like this and you want it to be a tentpole thing, that you'd be getting stuff out there quick.
Well, and it's gotta, I mean, this has got to be a moneymaker.
Yeah.
Like this can't be another one of those. Oh, it did well for what it was, but the box office is in the same vein that Superman Returns and Man of Steel did, which neither were bad numbers, but in the age of the box office did terrible. So, it doesn't matter how the movie is; it matters how the box office is. It's got to be beneficial for all parties at play of this giant IP that has now been restructured and reorganized and relaunched.
Do you have to do the impossible thing though too of getting the great word of mouth online? Because I think that back when Returns came out, what little bit of presence there was online. I mean, it's exponentially bigger today than the amount of people that are talking about stuff online. But the small amount that were very vocal, and I feel like were really influential in the studio's decision beyond a box office, because as you said, the box office wasn't bad for Superman Returns,
Right.
but I think there was just a vocal swell of people like, you didn't hit anything, you didn't, blah blah blah.
Well, let's see, 2006. I remember some online stuff.
Yeah.
Like I remember a website, and that was the age where you could still download AOL avatar, like AOL Instant Messenger avatars, and here's a screensaver from the website. You could download a Windows 2000 or whatever we were, XP or whatever we were up to at that point, screensaver, and here's desktop wallpapers and stuff like that. Most of the Returns marketing was, here are the Pepsi cans, and I think of like how kind of the Phantom Menace and how the original three Star Wars or the
I'm talking about
prequels.
in the aftermath, though.
Right, I see what you're saying.
A response to end up going away from Returns, and then when you hit Man of Steel, because you were talking about how important it is for this to make money, and again, Man of Steel made good money, but at that point, Twitter was a thing, social media was a thing, and man, people were vocal about it. You couldn't have just a casual take, just a moderate take on Man of Steel. You had to.
No, you either loved it or hated it.
Right. You had to be that way. And I wonder, I feel like now the studios are they've put so much stock in social media. I feel like that no matter how much fans love this movie, if they do, that if it's not spoken well of, if you don't get a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever, they're going to be like, oh, we got to drop back and punt again. We can't continue on this. We can't keep doing this, It just, I don't know. I'm like, it. Obviously, if it makes a lot of money, it doesn't matter what people say, but that's got to be a boatload of money.
I think it's going to make a lot of money. Do I think it's going to make $1 billion? I don't know. It totally depends on the film. I would have never thought Barbie would have made, however much it made. So I think it all comes down to how it resonates with people. But I think right now, if you asked the average Joe on the street, did you know there's a new Superman movie coming out? Or do they know? We've got, the trailer, was it 57 million? I forget what the view, that's the highest Warner Brothers trailer ever on the internet, highest count, viewed, whatever. And I think it broke the internet that day. In the days that came after that, it's an incredible trailer. Still one I could just go back and watch. Obviously, we haven't had a whole lot more to look at since then, just little teases here and there. But that's one I revisited because it was such a good teaser trailer, and we waited so long for something to come, just like we're waiting for the theatrical trailer. At this point, we've only heard 5 words from the movie. Crypto home, take me home. Is that all we've heard?
Yeah, that's about it, and just some
Superman chant, the kid saying Superman,
and screaming. That's about it.
Yeah. So we don't know what Lex sounds like. We don't know what Lois sounds like. We don't know how Jimmy, all that kind of stuff that we're dying to see. Then there's so much about the movie we don't know at this point. Now, a lot of stuff. Allegedly, there was a screening last week of the film, one of those that you sign up for and you don't know what movie you're seeing, and you sign your life away through non-disclosure agreements, and it's Superman. So allegedly that has transpired, and there have been some leaks as a result from that, because of course it's the internet. You can get away with that without saying who you were or that you were there or whatever. I don't agree with some of the tactics that were used over the weekend by some individuals that I feel have ruined certain aspects for people out of spite, it seemed like. But whether or not those elements are true remain to be seen. I feel like they probably are. They make sense to me. So we shall see. But it's like, I sent Luke yesterday. There's a World Dog Expo trade show going on right now, and Milkbone had has a display with Superman and Crypto toys for the new movie.
Wow.
For people to buy, for pet stores to buy, and vet clinics and stuff like that to buy. And it's like, well, that's great. That's more than we've seen. That giant image of Corin Sweat was more than we've seen at this point.
Yeah, if you're doing that kind of product tie-in, you're talking. There's an expectation that this is going to reach beyond your general fandom. Because when you start getting food tie-ins and dog food tie-ins, and you mentioned the lunchbox kind of thing. When you start talking bed sheets and lunchboxes and school supplies and that sort of thing, then you're talking about something they really anticipate being a good, far-reaching thing. So that means at least the licensing side of things is really on track with this and has a lot of faith in it.
And I don't remember. I remember when we were talking about marketing for returns. Like I remember it was on like every food product, like everything, like Doritos, like everything had Ralph plastered on it. I really don't remember that for Man of Steel. No. Like I remember the Walmart tie-in stuff, and there were a lot of toys because I bought all the toys, like every toy.
Yeah.
For Man of Steel, I bought. Luke, what do you remember from 2013?
I
don't remember food tie-in or anything.
No, there wasn't much food tie-ins. I was in America like a week before the film came out. I was in Arkansas, and I visited a Walmart.
I love how you say that.
And I bought everything that I could find that had Man of Steel on it.
Yeah.
There were lanyards, there were T-shirts. Yeah, they were the toys. It was great being a Superman fan, but it wasn't like, all right, they're putting Superman on everything.
Yeah.
I want Superman on cereal boxes. As you said, I want to see him on stationery. I want to see him on dog toys. I want to see his face plastered on everything, so that image is in our heads.
And I think that was the difference of that time period too, because like there was a Man of Steel cereal, like it had its own cereal box, but because of that, he wasn't on like Life or Lucky Charms or anything. Like he like it was just that one cereal box. Whereas Ralph was on any General Mills cereal. There was like 7 or 8 different cereal boxes that you could see him on at the time, and like all those Pepsi cans and Dr. Pepper and all that Mountain Dew. There was a Krypton Mountain Dew flavor, like a free, like a 7-Eleven Slurpee Mountain Dew Arctic Krypton or Fortress or something. I can't even remember. It's been 20 years now since that movie came out almost. And that's the kind of stuff I anticipate to see with this. Because one thing I've realized, other than Man of Steel having a lot of toy tie-in stuff, and I was a sucker for it and bought every single thing they had, this is going to be geared a lot more toward children than I think Man of Steel was.
I'm hoping for that as well. The fact that it is a kid/family friendly film, so I'm sure there's going to be more crypto toys out there. There's going to be the more sillier things of Superman throwing meteorites, and it's the fun stuff that I want to see. And as I say, we've seen some of those toys now for dogs. I've not got a dog, but I'll be getting the toys. Yeah. Don't worry about that. Mm-hmm. It's the marketing that is the big part of it, as you said, and I want to see those Superman's face and Lois's face and everybody's face on all the things. But I want it to be on buses as well. Mm-hmm. I want it to be on phone booths, if they do exist anywhere else around the world. I want to see the branding for this film whenever I see a newspaper. Mm-hmm. It's difficult because, sadly it's a dying form. But James Gunn has said that the Daily Planet is a big character in this film, and I'm so excited to see the elements of a press room. So use that. Bring out a Daily Planet. Bring out a newspaper for this film, because collectors are going to want to collect that sort of thing. They did one for Batman v Superman here in the UK. You could grab a fake newspaper.
Yeah,
do that again. It's the stuff that people
Returns did that. Returns had a fake Daily. Well, Superman and Lois, when it premiered, the Los Angeles Times. Yes. It was the cover of the Los Angeles Times. I got one later in here somewhere.
The marketing team, they do need to either step up a little bit, or if they are planning something, bravo, because the world, certain parts of the Superman world are already talking about this film. We can't stop talking about it, but we want other people to talk about it as well. We want the buzz, we want the excitement, and as you said, we are getting closer and closer to that year, this summer of Superman, and we need to kick it off in a big way very soon.
Marketing has changed so much in the last 2 decades, just from the time Returns was released. And I'm thinking of like when I was in Times Square in 2006, and it was, I mean, everything was Superman Returns. And the Toys R Us, the FAO Schwartz, and everything at that time, you know, in New York was, I mean, it was one of the largest displays they ever had. They actually had Ralph's suit in the middle of the store. In glass. I have my picture with it somewhere, and you know, all the toys and like Barbie doll. They had Barbie and Ken, Superman and Lois, and you know, it was just the billboards and everything. It was such a huge. You couldn't go anywhere without knowing that there was a Superman movie coming out. I didn't get that same feel in 2013 as much. Online marketing was far more a thing by 2013, and it was stuff like, you know, like you were talking about, Steve, like the Dark Knight, you know, releasing the pixels, and it was like Comic-Con type stuff, and not as much seeing it everywhere. I felt like I don't even really remember, like I vividly remember Superman Returns TV spots.
Yes, yeah.
I don't remember Man of Steel TV spots at all. Like I know they exist, and like
Well,
if I
existed.
and I know, yeah, and if you look on YouTube, like Warner Brothers has them up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that, but they don't stick out in my mind the same way Returns.
I can tell you this, Derek. I've got some classic episodes of like the Big Honkin' Show and Geek Out Loud that are literally Steve and Derek talk the new TV spot.
Oh really?
Yeah.
To quote Luke Bugg, I've slept a bit since then.
Yeah, they're like 3 or 4. Well, I didn't remember them either, but they're like 3 or 4 where we spend 30 minutes breaking down TV spots.
Oh man, we were excited. Like I remember,
Yeah.
I remember us talk. Like we saw it at the exact same time, like intentionally. We're an hour apart, and your viewing and mine was at the same time, so that we could walk out and talk. And like I remember sitting in a Chili's after the movie was over with, and like I was with a bunch of people, but I was on the phone with you for like an hour.
Yeah.
And then like ate, scarfed down a burger at Chili's, and then went right back in the theater and saw it again like an hour and a half after seeing it. And I'm sure I'll do the same thing with this one. Because we saw that Walmart exclusive screening.
Oh yeah.
With the little Zack Snyder introduction there at the beginning.
That ruined the movie for me.
The Zack Snyder introduction?
Yeah.
Why did that ruin the movie for you?
Zack Snyder said in that introduction, if you really pay attention in the courtroom scene or whatever, in the council scene in Krypton, you'll see all the kind of Easter eggs we have on the wall and that sort of thing back there. You can look closely and see those. So I'm like, all right, well, that'll be fun. I'll do that. And then the camera was moving around so much. And then I could not stop seeing the camera moving throughout the whole thing. So the lack of Steadicam became the bane of my existence with Man of Steel. It's like I wanted to love it. And all the problems that everyone else had with that movie, that other people had with that movie, I never had those issues. I never, like, Superman broke Zod's neck. Okay. Did I like that? No, it's fine. You know, it is what it is. What else was he going to do?
It's fine.
Kill those people. Yeah. But they could have at least held the camera steady when he did it. You know, that's kind of my...
Luke, what was your Man of Steel viewing? When you were here the week before.
It was a midnight release. They don't happen much back then. They don't happen much now either, really. But I can remember there was a buzz in the cinema. It wasn't full, I know that. I feel the general consensus was people enjoyed the film, but there was a lot of interesting conversations afterwards. Back then, I wasn't the geek of steel as much as it were. I was just a Superman fan. I wanted to enjoy it. I tried my very best, like we all did. There were some bits that I loved and some parts that I didn't. But there was much of a bigger buzz, me personally, coming out of Superman Returns. Like you said, Derek, I wanted to go straight back in and see it again. But I think the problem with the midnight screening is the fact that you don't have that option. It's
no.
Just, I've been waiting up all day for this. I'm wide awake now, and all I can do is think about it and talk with people that might have seen it. But with this film, it's one of those ones where it's probably not going to be a midnight release. But
yeah.
that element of coming out, getting something to eat, being excited, going back in to watch those things that you want to see for the second time, and spot those things that you might have missed the first time round. There's always been a buzz on the internet. You know, we've all been around now for a long time. That with this, we've seen things come and go. We've been disappointed in before how some sort of elements of the film release have happened, but the buzz that I am seeing online right now, that I am seeing in the comments, is that the positivity is drowning out those nasty negative comments, which is I'm very excited to see more of. That's why I want more marketing, is to see more of that. And for those people that were excited, as you say, the internet broke that day when that trailer got released. I want that buzz back. If we can, capture lightning twice, brilliant. Let's do that. And hopefully they've got something planned that can make that magic happen again. Because I'm ready to not just talk about Superman again, but to listen to what other people are saying. Because that is what brings me joy.
Yeah.
Is when the people that aren't often talking about Superman decide they want to start talking about my hero.
And I'm kind of in a place where, I don't know if this is true for either of you, and this is also how I feel after that huge Avengers, not Infinity War, what's the next one? Doomsday, after that thing last week. My God, what a thing that was. We could talk about that a little bit.
That felt like classic internet marketing.
Did it a little bit? Yeah. And of course, I was one of those that was like, I'm not going to sit here for 5 hours and watch chairs be revealed. And then I kept like going back and like, oh, there's another one. The Paul Rudd thing was fantastic. That was the best part of the whole thing.
That was a clever bit of stuff.
They should have done more. I don't know why they didn't get to Downey's chair and it was a throne. Like that should have been Doom's Dr. Doom's throne, but whatever. I didn't. And then of course by the end of it, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Where's Tom Holland? Where's all these other people? I'm like,
Benedict Cumberbatch.
I'm like, okay, well they did their job. Yeah, like I was a naysayer for it, and even they got me. And I'm not the biggest Marvel person anymore, but I can't stand when things get announced and it's like coming in 2029, and I'm like, yeah, I'll believe that when I'm sitting in the theater. Like I have seen too many brethren fall to where's Kang? What happened to Kang? Like I have seen.
You're talking about the Lucasfilm approach.
I'm talking about Rogue Squadron. I'm still holding out for Rogue Squadron, baby. We had a whole teaser reveal for Rogue Squadron.
Yeah. Hey Patty, here's what we want you to do. We want you to talk about your love of all these things.
Yeah.
Walk out of this X-Wing and get in it, and we're going to make it look like it takes off, and that's going to be awesome. And that's how you're going to announce that you're doing Rogue Squadron. Hey, Rogue Squadron's canceled, everybody.
And then that movie never comes to fruition. Oh. And so, Star Wars is a prime candidate. But really, Disney is a prime candidate for all these things getting announced and then just never happening. I mean, obviously, and then you've got like Batgirl for Warner Brothers that was filmed and finished. And we're going to cancel it because we're about to do a whole new universe. Although I'm so happy to say today that it looks like Acme versus Coyote has been saved. Catch up entertainment. This is just catch up, Steve.
I was hoping for that so much.
Yes, I'm so excited that it's going to get to see its day.
What is getting made?
Coyote versus Acme is the live action Looney Tunes movie that Warner killed last year for tax purposes.
I had no idea that was a thing.
It's it is Will Forte as Wile E. Coyote's attorney representing him against a lawsuit against Acme.
That's great.
And John Cena is the CEO of Acme. And it feels, everybody that has been involved with the project has said, like, it is the most, like, emotional, like, it's, like, emotional and hilarious. And, like, it's such a well-done hybrid of classic Looney Tunes and live action. And, I wasn't a huge fan of Back in Action, but I think I had just aged out of the approach they took to it. Like, it's still funny to me. Now, Space Jam, I was right in that wheelhouse when it came out. And yes, it's a terrible film, but it's, I was right. The original Space is a terrible movie.
It's a terrible film?
That's a terrible movie, Steve. That was made to sell merchandise and nothing else.
Growing up, though, I think I there was quite a few VHS tapes that I had at my granddad's house. One was Space Jam.
Yeah.
One was Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
And the other one was pretty much the ultimate collection of Roadrunner cartoons.
Perfect.
And me and my granddad loved those. And we would
Perfect.
watch them for hours.
That's a
So
good
I was
story.
heartbroken when this constant news of, oh, it's going to be happening, it's not going to be happening.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely cancelled now. And I was like, damn it. But fingers crossed, the articles are looking very, very promising.
And did you see The Day the Earth Blew Up? The Daffy and Porky movie that just came out?
Oh, yes, that's one. I thought you were going back to that Leonardo DiCaprio film.
No, sorry.
I was like, that got dark.
Yeah.
But it's, again, the buzz that's around a film that technically doesn't exist.
Yeah.
People are going to go and see that film now.
Right.
To prove movie companies wrong.
Right.
And I love that level of marketing and people being petty. It's a fantastic combination of emotions. But it'll be a fantastic film because they're fantastic characters.
Yes.
So if people can get as much buzz about a film that doesn't exist, why can't we be getting buzzed about a film that does exist and it's not being marketed?
Well, and that's my thing. It's like, I say all that to say, I have that same kind of, I'll believe it when I'm sitting in the theater. And I mean, we've seen a trailer and a teaser poster and image, like we know this movie's coming and it's only 90, 95, 100 days away. But like, I still have that, I guess because we haven't seen a whole lot, and I know they're playing it close to the chest because it's so important and it has to be done so well and it has to be done right and it has to win and it has to make X amount of dollars and it's got to win over people for a whole new franchise and world of filmmaking that they've promised. But it's also, I've still got that kind of I feel like this movie's not coming out. Even though I know that it is, my left brain knows that it is. My right brain's like, I want to be in the theater. I want to, like at this point, I feel like I had I already stood in line for those Walmart tickets. That may have been May. I think that was May, and the movie came out in June, so it was a month. It was a month out. But you know, I think Man of Steel felt a whole lot more real to me by this point.
Well, again, by this point, and regardless of whether we remember them now or not, there had been Super Bowl spots, TV spots. You know, like the marketing was ramping up, and its marketing we're just not seeing right now. Everything is James Gunn putting out a picture here, a picture there. You know, there's not a ton of stuff being said, and then you've got that whole internet thing where people are looking ahead already to what's next, and so they are talking Supergirl, they're talking Jason Momoa as Lobo, they're talking 1,000 other things, and then you've got it's that thing. It's the problem with the internet is that everybody is so hyped at the same time for the same thing, and how do you keep them on that bandwagon? Because sooner or later, here's this other shiny thing that comes along, and everybody's so hyped. So you've got to get the shiny thing dropped in there at just the right time. Because I really do think that studios are paying more attention to what's happening on X and Blue Sky and wherever else they're going for
Instagram.
Instagram, and stuff like this, stuff like YouTube, where you have influencers. I hate that term, by the way. Sorry, Luke. Who?
It can be a dirty word. It has connotations there for it.
Well, I'll give you an example that's outside of the studio realm, but just with toys. New York Toy Fair was just last month, a few weeks ago, and there's one guy that he got his start as a retailer on YouTube, doing like figure reviews and looking at the business of action figures and stuff, and he decided to start his own online action figure store, toy store, basically, and he does good work, and he's really upfront about things. And his experience at Toy Fair was he went as a retailer rather than as a YouTuber, rather than as an influencer. And all of the companies who aren't making any money really off of these YouTube channels were giving more access and more credence to the influencers that were there than these independent retailers who were actually selling the product, and he said, and that was a little frustrating. He said, because if I would have just said I'm a YouTuber and I've got this, I would have been given a little more access here and there. And I think the same is true with the studios. I do think that television is still a big medium. It's a bigger medium than people realize, and I think that there's money to be made, even advertising on your streaming services and that sort of thing. And I understand that, stuff like this and influencers and talking about it are getting that word of mouth buzz out there for them for free. But at the same time, there's when you had, what was it, a 90-second trailer? There's only so much to talk about in something like that before it's like, all right, well, we need a little bit more to talk about to get to the actual movie to help ramp things up. And I'm not in the world of marketing. I'm not in the world of advertising. I just think that why not? There are movies that I've seen in the past where the only reason I went to see them is because I kept getting bombarded with trailers and TV spots and teasers and TV spots so much that I'm like, well, I guess I'll go see that. That's, it just won me over because I kept seeing it. And I don't know why that would be a bad idea with something as big as they need this to be.
So I'm doing a little research while you're talking, Stephen. I agree with what you're saying here. And I'm just comparing dates. The first ever, and I'm looking at like Warner Brothers' official account on YouTube. So Man of Steel came out June 14th, 2013. And James Gunn's Superman comes out July 11th. So about a month after that one would have come out. The first TV spot for Man of Steel, like official Warner Brothers TV spot, was April 8th.
Okay.
So by that...
They didn't have a Super Bowl spot?
I don't think so. So by that logic, we're about a month behind. If you're looking at that kind of... Now, that was an earlier summer movie, so it had to be, marketed as such.
Yeah.
But let me look. So but the teaser trailer was almost a year out, right? Because Dark Knight was the year before. Am I right?
Dark Knight Rises, you mean?
Yeah, Dark Knight Rises, because that's what it was before. All right, so the official teaser trailer, Jonathan Kent voice, was released July 24th, 2012. So 11 months before Man of Steel was released, we had those dual Jonathan Kent Jor-El teasers. And I'm not saying this is the way they should be doing it. I'm just saying the trajectory of which the last Superman film was marketed. I'm just showing, comparing and contrasting is all there. So that teaser trailer came out 11 months before the film. And then when was that Superman? When was that 2025 trailer? January?
It was, yes, 3 months ago.
Yeah. Now, I will say
December the 19th.
December 19th.
57 million views.
57 million views. Now, I will say I have seen a couple TV spots for the new movie.
Oh, really?
Which would be further in advance after it was shown during the Puppy Bowl, obviously, and then there was an SNL where it was a shortened version, like I think the first Saturday Night Live after the trailer premiered. They showed a shortened TV spot, and it was the exact same thing as the trailer. It was just shorter. Because I was watching that live when it aired. And then I think they didn't do the Super Bowl, but like the week before during the AFC Championship, they showed it, but then they had added that shot of Corn Sweat flying, the spiral at the end in his face that everybody was like, oh, he looks weird. No, he's the fisheye lens, and it doesn't look weird. So that's interesting. And then I'm seeing trailer 3 for Man of Steel. The third theatrical trailer was April 16th ahead of. So, yeah, I mean, by that logic, they're behind.
A fair bit.
If you want to compare and contrast that. I feel like because it's been such the difference between Snyder and Gunn and fan bases, that's such an unfair comparison. And so I'm not trying to bread and butter those two worlds together like they're the same thing, because they're not, and I don't want to be pigeonholed as such. But I think it's very much an IP of that grandeur. You have to kind of look at it and go, well, but by that same logic, what was the Barbie teaser trailer original? Was December 16th, 2022, much like the Superman teaser trailer, within 3 days. And then Barbie came out in June or July?
Yeah, next.
July 21st. So this is almost the exact same trajectory.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you this, because and this is just kind of a bit of here and now. We're recording this on the 31st of March.
Correct.
In a few days, a Minecraft movie is coming to theaters.
Yes.
Would that not be the perfect vehicle to have a new
Trailer
attached
Yes.
to?
Yes.
That? I mean, are we at least saying that by the end of this week, maybe
I think that's the mindset, because it's like, mine. I think that's the mindset because, yes, you would expect that. You would expect, it's also, Minecraft is a kids movie. They want to market this towards more. I don't want to say they want to market it toward kids, but I think they want to market more universally than Man of Steel was marketed.
Right.
It was,
and based on what I'm seeing here, feature films from Warner Brothers, there's not much else coming out between now and July 11 from Warner Brothers theatrically that would fit it. You've got Sinners, you got the Final Destination, Bloodlines thing, you got F1, and that's all the way into June then. So, I just think, to me, and now the way I think a lot of times at In-House Studios, and I'm thinking, I would think you'd have a trailer ready to go attached to Minecraft, because whether you like it or not, Minecraft is going to be big, I think, just based on the kids that'll go see it. And you're going to get a lot of eyeballs seeing Superman.
I think that's why we're probably in store for a trailer tomorrow. Or the trailer is shown at Vegas tomorrow, and then we get it later this week.
Get it later this week, yeah.
Luke is trepidatious.
I'm not trepidatious. I'm more scared, because I know that if it does go online, it's going to be, for me, 1:00 in the morning tomorrow.
Only two things scare Luke Bugg: stained glass windows
And lack of sleep.
and lack of sleep.
Because both turned me into a monster.
Yeah.
Both have nuns just chasing him into the night.
Yeah, the nuns come after him.
Oh,
He's getting splattered with holy water.
but I don't think. I'm going to be awake no matter what tomorrow night, just to see if anything does come out of it. Much like yourself, Derek, is that we only like to share official news. We don't share hearsay. We don't share gossip.
I've learned my lesson in 20 years of doing this.
Yeah, you don't share leaks. You don't be that guy that just wants to be the first person to share something.
But stick around after the credits for spoilers.
Yeah.
We had legitimate. So we were in, though. We knew what we were talking about. I knew Clark was going to be Bizarro before and he was going to be in the Fortress. That was. I didn't spoil that for anybody, though.
No, you didn't. You didn't spoil that for me.
No, I didn't. I would have been mad if it had been spoiled for me in such a manner.
Yeah. But
Now saying that, Steve Glosson did tell me that Mike Ehrmantraut killed Walter White on Breaking Bad.
I felt horrible about that.
Wow.
I thought that I'm used to being behind the curve on my television viewing.
Okay.
And so I made the assumption.
You made the correct assumption because we were watching it at the same time. However, we had a tornado and the power kicked out. And so about 10 minutes before Mike killed Walt, spoiler alert from a decade or plus ago, I was watching and then the power cut out. And Steve texted me, he's like, I can't believe Mike killed Walt. Or Walt killed Mike. And I was like, son of a...
Well, there was something. Was it? It was either a season finale or the series finale of Terminator, when Brian just gets a headshot, like comes around the corner.
Oh yeah.
And I had to step away from that show that night. Derek didn't spoil it, but I had to step away to go help a friend who had broken down out in the country where I was at, and I get a text from her like, "Dang man," or something like that, and I'm like, "Don't tell me anything." So, spoiler alert for Terminator the series.
Yeah, for another decade plus thing. So, yes, I agree. Minecraft is a great way to launch this. I was in Los Angeles last week. It was really weird driving around the town for a few days and not see a billboard or a banner or anything. But yes, Warner is looking at Minecraft right now. That's a great point. And there was a lot of that being shown, but you feel like you gotta shuffle that one off the board before you get to the next one. But yes, that is a fantastic place for this trailer to launch. So even if we don't get it tomorrow and it's only for CinemaCon, I do feel like we're not going to be waiting till April 18th at this point.
Right.
Looking at this Barbie round out, that trajectory is very close to the same. December 16th for a teaser trailer for Barbie in 2022. December 19th, 2024 for the Superman teaser trailer. And then, let's see, Luke, you were going to say something and I interrupted you. Go ahead while I look up when the Barbie trailer was released.
No, it's just the fact that, that's a very good point about the Minecraft, the fact they are going to be pushing that for the next fortnight at least. So it would be a great time when the film hits cinemas this weekend to have that Superman trailer attached to that. Whether it be the original or a new one. I want a new one with lots of new footage. We don't just want to see the same stuff regurgitated and just cut down. We want something new.
Generally with these in the past, and I may be way out of the loop on how things are done, but generally it used to be, here's your teaser, and we're going to give you some imagery, we're going to give you some feelings, this is going to be the emotional connection to make to this film. Then a few months later, here's your trailer, and you're going to get a feel of the story that you're going to see. And so hopefully we'll get that. Like, I don't need a ton of new footage, but I do need some. I mean, I want a little bit longer. I want an actual, like a full-length trailer, 2.5 minutes, that will give me some sense of the story, of what we can expect. Because and I know you guys are a little more spoiled on things than I am and have more sources and stuff than I do, and that's fine. But I have no idea what the story of this thing is going to be. Like, if you said, Steve, what do you think this movie is going to be? Lex Luthor captures Superman and unleashes a huge monster on Metropolis, and Superman breaks out with the help of his friends Green Lantern and Hawk Girl and Mr. Terrific, and then defeats the monster at the end. Like, that's what it looks like, and Crypto helps him, that is as elementary as that is, but like, that's kind of what I get from the teaser trailer. I'm still a kid when I see these things, and I just go with my feelings and what I see. And so I'm really interested in the story of it all.
I want some more dialogue. I know we need Lois now.
I think it's criminal. I think it's criminal that there has been such a lack. I do feel, and I'm not one to be like, oh, it's weird that Emmy Award winning Rachel Brosnahan has not been utilized more
at all
in some form or fashion. That we have not shown an exclusive image of her. That, thank God she was in the trailer the teaser trailer as much as she was. But I'm ready for Lois.
Yeah, I want posters. I want headshots. I want everything.
Yeah.
I just want this film pushed as much as it could possibly be pushed, because, as you said, it's great that the internet is talking about a film just before Christmas, but there is a big space between then and July, and nothing's really happened.
Well, let's look at that from the Barbie standpoint. So Barbie released July 21st, 2022. Superman releases July 11th, 2025. The teaser trailer for Barbie released December 16th, 2022. It came out. Barbie came out 10 days after Superman will come out by a calendar date, not by a year date, but just by the month of July. The Superman teaser trailer came out December 19th, so 3 days after the Barbie teaser trailer came out. Now, the Warner Brothers account calls it Barbie teaser trailer, and then has Barbie teaser trailer 2, not Barbie theatrical trailer, but Barbie teaser trailer 2 dropped April 4th, 2023. So that would be very much in line with what we're looking at this week.
Okay.
But we say all that to say, don't count your chickens before they're hatched, but there's no reason to worry at this point. It's just I think we're getting to the point where it's like, okay, it's time. And by looking at this, yes, it's time. Now, what I'm curious of, and I can't remember, Luke, in looking at this, the actual Barbie theatrical trailer, the main trailer for Barbie, did not come out till May 25th, 2023. Less than 2 months before the film was released.
Or as I like to call that, Orthodox Star Wars Day.
There you go.
May 25th.
So the Superman trailer, was it called, what was it called officially? Official teaser trailer. Official teaser trailer.
It was Superman official teaser trailer. Not one, not two.
Just official teaser trailer.
Teaser trailer.
The AFC spot dropped on January 26th.
Is that the one that's the icon, or it's labeled
Yes, icon. Yes, that came out April with him flying at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That came out January 26th, and then Barbie TV spot.
He looks so weird when he's flying.
Shut
so
up.
Big.
Anything to? I don't know.
I just want to welcome you, Luke, to a classic episode of Starkville House.
It kind of is, isn't it?
Because Derek has now gone super, super geek mode where he's like,
I can see
all right,
it.
I'm going to do some research and I'm going to compare. We're going to break this mother down.
There's red string.
Let me tell you why you're wrong. Let me tell you.
Listen, I just feel like I'm like, welcome home. That's how I feel right
Crypto,
now.
take us home.
Take us home.
Take us
Yeah.
home, Crypto.
We are there.
It does feel a little like that, doesn't it? Except my back hurts more.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're wearing 2 pairs of glasses. That's all that's really changed
Let me
here.
get that going there.
To show that time has passed.
So as I look into the situation here, yeah.
Barbie does not have numbered TV spots, but is this the official Barbie account? I believe it is. The official Barbie Warner Brothers account, Barbie the movie account, has the first TV spot having released on May 27th, which was 2 days after the actual theatrical trailer aired. So we're already ahead of the curve on TV spots, at least. So I feel like we're totally in line with where we probably should be if they are using the Barbie route for things. I think the difference is I wasn't clamoring for a Barbie movie. I'm clamoring for a super.
Right.
Like it's very much okay. Let's get the ball rolling on this, but also from a marketing standpoint, we're probably about where we expect to be at for what the rollout is going to be.
Yeah.
Well, we will know within the next few days, won't we?
Won't we? Yes, indeed.
And Luke, you mentioned this is going to have more of a family-friendly feel to it and everything. Mm-hmm. Based on what you guys are hearing, is that accurate, or is this just kind of a hope that we have? Because I know I like the idea of superheroes being made for kids.
Yeah.
We're seeing Superman do superheroes type stuff in this film. He's saving families. He's saving kids. Now, I'm a fan of reaction trailers. I've done a few in the past. I saw so many families reacting to the Superman trailer when it first came out.
Right.
I didn't see that for Man of Steel. I didn't see that for Batman v Superman. I saw mums and dads and aunties and uncles and grandparents watching this trailer with kids.
Okay.
It was a family environment. It was a family moment. And seeing people online getting excited for a lunchbox or a lunch bag,
Yeah.
that brings me so much joy to see that.
Did you see that kid get?
I did.
That's terrible. And I don't know if you saw, I reached out to the guy that posted it and said, we want to send your nephew some stuff. Guy posted over the weekend that he found the Corn Sweat Superman lunchbox and was giving it to his nephew, and the replies were just some of the more toxic things I've seen against a kid. I mean, Snyder people. I mean, I hate to be that way, but if you go to their accounts, that's what they're promoting. So
they're ticked that a kid's getting a Corn Sweat lunchbox.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, they're upset that a child is happy. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
And
I don't mean to say all Snyder fans, because I like Man of Steel. Like
I'm a Snyder fan.
I like Man of Steel. I wish it had gone differently after the fact, but I I don't.
I love 300.
Okay.
Isn't that a Snyder joint?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
I'm teasing you. So I reached out. I was like, "We're going to send your nephew some stuff," and he was very thankful. And I just I think, but there was a lot of that going on. And why are people championing being excited for this being targeted to kids or kids? Because we didn't become a Superman fan when we were in high school because your end all be all of a director made a movie. We were Superman fans as kids.
Yeah. Let me read you some comics from, I don't know, circa 1976.
Yeah.
And you tell me what these things are ultimately, who the core audience is for these things. And I've long said, and Derek, you know this, that I've had this stance for a long time, that they've got to come back to comics being a thing, being a medium that a kid can read and enjoy, and then if an adult wants to just hang in the world of these characters, that it's still there and available for them. But this idea of everything's got to be made for 40 and 50-year-old men, I'm not against people enjoying it, and I'm not against people having an opinion about whether or not they enjoyed it, but I am dead set against people saying this is too childish. If kids aren't into this, then you know what's going to happen.
You've ruined it before you got started.
Yeah, but you're also killing the character then at that point.
Yes.
Because if kids aren't into this, then there's no future for that character.
No, and I want to take my son to see this movie. I probably would not have taken my son at the age of 5 to see Man of Steel.
Right.
It was just too intense.
Yep.
And it's not a bad thing that it was, and I liked what he was trying to do, and I liked that it's strayed more toward, adult oriented and stuff like that. But he's supposed to be, they're all like, well, he looks like an idiot wearing the trunks. He's been wearing the trunks for 90 years.
Absolutely.
9 decades. Like, he's supposed to be saving cats out of trees. Like, he's supposed to be doing world-ending threats, but he's supposed to be helping little old ladies. And that's what Superman is. Like, there's a balance to that. And, I want my... I selfishly want my kid to see it because he doesn't really care about Superman that much. I mean, he kind of the few things that he's seen, he likes. He really liked the Super Pets movie. Mm-hmm. He loves crypto, so I feel like we've got him in the wheelhouse here for that. Yes. I just a few weeks ago, he was home with the flu, and I bought the entire crypto series from when was that, 2005? 2004, I don't remember. The animated series. I bought both seasons of that, and he ran through those and loved it. He's watched the Ruby Spears cartoon, and he likes that. But he doesn't. It's just not. Spider-Man is everywhere.
Yeah.
You've got Spidey and His Amazing Friends, and he loves that on Disney Plus, and that kind of stuff. And you don't have that, so. Anything that's like geared toward kids for this, I am eating it up because I want that for him and I to have together.
Well, it goes back to something we'd said much earlier, maybe in the Patreon episode, that, I tore up Superman 4 as a kid. Like, Superman 4 was my jam, and as was Superman 2 and Superman 1. You know why? Because I was a kid, and there was a superhero on screen doing things. And I've been kind of going back through the Incredible Hulk television series. It all comes back to Hulk. And as a kid, it was, hey, he's turning into the Hulk right now. That's awesome. But then you watch as an adult, and it's like, okay, so there are adult-type themes here, but they're not so lofty and so heady that a kid can't sit there and enjoy the plot line leading into him getting thrown over a bar, out a door, through a window, into a closet, and turning into the Hulk, And superheroes can do that. And quite frankly, I don't. Let me get up. Excuse me while I step up here on this soapbox.
Is it lonely up there on your pedestal?
It feels great. The air is nice. Come breathe it with me. I don't think a superhero movie has to be PG-13. I don't think you have to be dropping curse words and crude humor into a superhero movie. I think you can make an earnest superhero movie entertaining, funny, engaging, and adventurous and still engaged the entire spectrum of the general audience.
What do you think, Luke, and Steve too, but I'm going to ask you first, what do you think the reaction would be from that sect of the internet if the MPAA made Superman PG? I don't think it'll ever happen in this day and age with the way ratings are, because I think, thematic elements and like that, the Arctic giant alone and stuff like that will probably make it a
bit
PG-13,
of a higher rating.
Yeah.
It's the fact that they're going to... Some people might say, oh, it's a child film. It's a kiddie film. This isn't for us. That's sometimes the message that I've seen before is that, oh, this is great for you, but it's not for me. Whereas a film, when done right, can be for everyone.
Right.
Absolutely.
And there's no reason the PG-13 just for it doesn't have to drop F-bombs or anything to get that rating. It could still be, like I said, there's some intense stuff in that teaser trailer that alone, the what looks to be the destruction of the fortress or the stuff like that, whatever's going on in that sequence. Those things alone.
Whatever's happening with the people where the little boy is raising up.
Right.
There's a stampede of something going on there.
I mean, the crowd turning on him and that guy throwing the can at the back of his, stuff like that. That's very much not PG. But the last theatrical true Superman film we got, while the theatrical was PG-13, when it came out on Blu-ray, it was R.
Is that true?
Dawn of Justice.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Because I won't count Justice League. I won't count Justice League in that. But I don't really count. That's a Batman film. That's Batman that didn't watch Man of Steel that we had to sit through.
The Dawn of Justice or the which one? Justice League is a Batman film?
No, Dawn of Justice is a Batman film.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We should have gotten a Man of Steel sequel, not a Batman movie after that. But
I agree.
That still hurts.
A Batman film where he didn't watch the first movie. That's the whole problem with Dawn of Justice is we all saw Man of Steel and he didn't. Yeah. That's the whole thing. We're like the people in the horror movies. Like, don't go in there. We're like yelling at the screen the whole time.
Well, look, I just think that, and I appreciate what Snyder was trying to do. I guess I really do. But I even look on the Marvel side of things, and there's some of those films that, though kids will like them, I don't know that they're very accessible to children. There's some stuff in the second Doctor Strange that is just, it's kind of creepy.
It's dark.
Weird.
It's dark. Yeah.
There's stuff in the first Doctor Strange that gets a little creepy and weird. There's stuff in some of the Iron Man things that I just don't like. Iron Man 3 is a fun movie. It's a fun romp, but like, you're dealing with terrorism. You're dealing with
PTSD.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know that, that kids want this in their superhero movies. I didn't want it, we never had to watch Superman deal with the aftermath of what happened with the villains from Krypton. Yeah. And he just went on about his business. In fact, and Superman 3 opens up, it's a fun little romp down the street from Metropolis.
Rube Goldberg machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and maybe I'm just, again, I may be naive. I may be too pie in the sky kind of, image of what I want superheroes to be. But I know I was reading superheroes at 11 years old.
Yes.
And the stories that I loved as 11-year-old, I still love as an adult. And I see things in them as an adult that I didn't pick up on as a kid. But they were accessible to me as a kid and as an adult. And I think that is where the talent to really write something, it just shines. If you're able to cross those multi-generational barriers,
I agree. And like, there's a, I hate to use the term influencer like Steve, but there's a guy on Twitter who has amassed a very large following based solely on his Superman takes. Tim sends me his stuff from time to time, and he's very much anti John Byrne. He's like 21 years old, and he thinks John Byrne's run is awful. He thinks the Kent should always be dead before Clark becomes Superman, and he hates the Death of Superman storyline, and I'm like, you have lost me on all fronts.
Yeah, this guy, I don't like him at all.
You have lost me on all fronts alone, if nothing more than the Death of Superman, because that's where I was a Superman fan before that and loved the cartoons and stuff, but as a comic reader, that's where I got on board. That was my onboarding for Action Comics and everything, was the Death of Superman storyline. And yes, I was a kid. What was that, 94?
92, wasn't it?
Well, the end of it all, or
The end of it all. When was Superman 75?
That was 92.
That was 92. God, was that 92? I was thinking 93, 94.
No, I'm pretty sure.
93. Okay, it was 93. I was like, I feel like I was a little bit older, but yeah. So I was buying all of that and reading all of that, and that was really my first time going to a comic book store.
Yeah, it began in 92 and ended in 93.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was just looking at Superman 75 and it said it was January 93. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know what day it is today. But that was my first exposure to a comic book store. Before that, I was just going to the bookstore and they had comics. Like that was so that was where I got into that, was out of the Death of Superman. Actually going and buying more stuff and trying new things and trying some Marvel stuff and deciding what I liked and what I didn't like, because I was just such a Superman guy. And kids should have that.
Yep.
Like that should be a thing still. And I think you're right. I think that's where some of these properties struggle, is straddling that line between, we want to gear this toward everybody. And I get the feeling that's what he's going for, that Gunn is going for here. He's also such a huge fan of Superman 78. And I think he's very respectful of the character. And I'm not the biggest fan of his filmmaking. I think he's an excellent world builder. I think he's a good director. His writing is, I sway back and forth on really enjoying some of his things and not really resonating, some of it not really resonating with me. So I'm trepidatious when he gets announced as writer and director as the first big thing in this thing. And of course, the big first thing in this thing is going to be the greatest superhero of all time, Superman. Right. So I'm still worried, but I was trepidatious when Superman and Lois was announced. Like I was trepidatious when Man of Steel was announced. Any new thing makes me, I'm very protective of this character and his legacy. And as Luke calls me an ambassador, and I call him one, I very much feel like a Superman ambassador, and I want to be
diplomatic immunity.
Yes, it's just been revoked. I want all things to be, I want him treated so well, and for everybody to, I feel like John Mulaney, I want everybody to like him so much. I want everybody to like Superman so much. And so when he gets dragged, he's wearing red diapers and, underwear on the outside. I'm like, it's just so stupid. Like he's been a lasting part of our history for almost a century.
Yeah.
And he's so important. And there wouldn't be an MCU without Superman.
Absolutely.
There wouldn't be any of these things. And so, I mean, none of these films would exist the way they did if Richard Donner and Warner Brothers had not taken a gamble and made Superman and cast a relative unknown, and we look at the legacy that left behind it. And everything's kind of been in that shadow since. And that's why so many things have paid tribute to the Donnerverse, like Smallville and everything, because it really set that bar so high. And I appreciate when things try to break out and do their own interpretation and try to do new things with it. But it's also like, I love that, for Next Generation, but then I watch that teaser trailer and that Williams that electric guitar hits with that Williams theme, and I'm like, sorry, I'm a kid again. Like, it's
and I think that's the thing. It's like there's so much that's iconic about Superman, and each generation has its own thing, but there's something about that 78 movie that just transcends all of that. Like when you go back, anytime someone says faster than, if your mind doesn't immediately go to a speeding bullet, you've been living under a rock for the past 70, 80 years. More powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall. We know he flies, but it's still able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. And that goes back to the 40s and 50s, that maintained all the way through, so much so that they go out of their way to show him do these kinds of things sometimes with actual locomotives, whether he's running alongside it or propping one up as it goes over him after the tracks have been, the tracks have been damaged by an earthquake, or, catching a bullet or getting a bullet to the eyeball. There's all these different things that we see that are iconic of Superman that go along. That 78 film, the music, the personality of Superman, particularly the personality of Superman, just being that individual who's there to bring hope and light and everything else to a situation, who will stop a falling helicopter and then go pull a cat out of a tree, and anyone, I don't know, like I enjoyed Man of Steel, but I didn't get that from that. I got more like, look at the internal struggle of this. I don't want Superman to have an internal struggle. We got that for 10 years in Smallville, and we got the conclusion when he finally came to grips with everything. And I feel like the internal struggle, the perfect time to have the internal struggle, is when he's in high school, surrounded by loving parents who help guide him down the path that he becomes. And we don't need Superman feeling like an alien. This is his home. And kids should be able to look up to him and want to be him. Kids should be tying towels around their necks and jumping off of couches and not thwipping. I love Spider-Man, don't get me wrong, but it kills me that my little nephew, who's only not even 3, loves Spider-Man. And when I said, well, do you know Superman? No. Yeah. So hopefully that'll change here soon.
Because, what do we have? The animated series is on Adult Swim. It's not really even geared toward kids. So we need this.
We do.
We need this marketing geared toward them. We need, to see him saving kids in the movie.
Yeah. How about Warner Brothers and DC needs this?
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, thank you. That was a good roundtable triangle conversation.
Nice little therapy session.
Therapy, yeah. All that to be said, hopefully by the end of this week, we're going to see some more footage.
Yes,
and it's going to feel even more real. Luke will be dead asleep, and I'll text him all the things.
I can't wait to see Danny DeVito as
Mixes Fiddlick. Yeah. Big spoiler
cigar
there.
and all.
Cigar
Big
and
old
all.
cigar. Little bowler hat. He's going to be there.
You can find Luke at the Geek of Steel on everything, and the podcast of Steel, where you can hear his wonderful dulcet tones as he interviews fandoms. He loves talking to fans and people from around the globe and their various projects and goings on. Steve, of course, you can hear at the Geek Out Loud.
Yep.
The official podcast of geekoutonline.com. Just drop just Geek Out Loud. It's cleaner. Yeah. And, of course, here at the House of L, we've been doing this for 20 years now and going to keep doing it because what else do I have to look forward to? At Super House of L on all things Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, Twitter. And you can email us superhouseofl@gmail.com. And, find us on Patreon to hear our new exclusive episode that we just put out today. Patreon.com/superhouseofl. Gentlemen, the next time we talk, hopefully we will have heard Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, which at this point is my biggest hope. Yeah. My biggest takeaway. Yeah.
Super.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks, everybody.
Kelsey Grammer.
Bye-bye.
Patrick Stewart. Ian McKellen.
Stay tuned for spoilers where we talk about Doomsday. But not that Doomsday, the Avengers Doomsday.
The other one.